Hey everyone! Have you ever looked at a map and seen the Philippines? It's this incredible group of more than 7,000 islands in Southeast Asia. But have you ever wondered how this island nation came to be? Who were the first people there? And how did it become the country we know today? Well, buckle up, because today we're going on an amazing time-traveling adventure. We're going to zoom back 60,000 years into the past and watch the entire story of the Philippines unfold right before your eyes. Trust me, this story has everything. Ancient traders, mighty empires, brave warriors, and even some epic battles. So hit that like button and let's dive in. Our story begins a really long time ago, about 60,000 years in the past. Imagine this: groups of brave people traveling across the ocean on rafts and boats, searching for new lands to call home. And guess what? They found these beautiful islands we now call the Philippines. This wasn't just a handful of people, either. Different groups kept arriving, and over thousands of years, they built villages, then towns, and eventually what some historians think were early mini-kingdoms. Fast forward to about 4000 BC, that's around 6,000 years ago. A special group called the Austronesians started arriving in waves. Think of them as incredibly skilled sailors and explorers who spread all across the Pacific Ocean. Now here's something cool. By 1000 BC, which is 3,000 years ago, the people on these islands had organized themselves into 4 different types of communities. There were small tribal groups living together like big families. There were warrior societies where the strongest fighters protected everyone. There were wealthy trading communities led by rich merchants, kind of like early entrepreneurs. And finally, there were harbor towns that became super important for trade. Oh, and they were already making things from metal. They learned this skill by trading with people from India. Pretty advanced, right? Between the years 300 and 700 AD, something really exciting happened. The island people became master traders. They started doing business with kingdoms in India, Malaysia, Indonesia, and even China. Along with trade goods like glass beads, beautiful agate stones, and gold. Something else arrived: new ideas and religions. Buddhism and Hinduism came to the islands, and the local people mixed these new beliefs with their own traditions. It was like a big cultural exchange party. Want to know something amazing? In the year 900 AD, someone created a document on a copper plate called the Laguna Copperplate Inscription. This is the oldest written document ever found in the Philippines. It tells the story of a man named Namwerone who had his debt forgiven by a ruler. What's super cool is that it shows these ancient Filipinos were using math, had a system for weighing gold, and even studied astronomy. The writing on this copper plate used words from Sanskrit, an ancient Indian language. This proves that the people living around Manila Bay had blended Indian and Malay cultures, just like their neighbors in Java, Malaysia, and Sumatra. Now, it's important to understand that back then, there wasn't one single Philippine country. Instead, imagine lots of small city-states, each ruled by its own leaders. Some were up in the mountains, some by the sea. They would sometimes team up with bigger empires like the Majapahit Empire, China's Ming Dynasty, or Brunei, and sometimes they'd do their own thing. Around the year 1225, there was a Buddhist kingdom called Mai on the island of Mindoro. Traders came from as far away as Japan and the Ryukyu Kingdom to do business there. A Chinese customs inspector named Chao Jukua even wrote that the people of Mai were super honest in their dealings. That's a pretty great reputation to have. In the 1300s, a powerful Hindu empire called Majapahit, based in what's now Indonesia, controlled parts of Luzon and the Sulu Islands, but not everyone was happy about this. Some local tribes fought back with guerrilla warfare, quick surprise attacks. Eventually, in 1365, there was a big battle, the Battle of Manila, and the kingdoms of Luzon won their independence back. The Sulu region also broke free and even attacked Brunei in revenge. But Brunei fought back and drove them away. The Majapahit Empire started to fall apart after this, with its provinces breaking away to become independent sultanates. Then, in 1380, something major happened that would change the Philippines forever. An Arab trader named Makdum Karim arrived in Sulu from Malacca and brought a new religion, Islam. Then, another Arab explorer, Sharif al-Hashem, did something pretty dramatic. He convinced the Hindu king of Sulu to convert to Islam and then married his daughter. This created the Sultanate of Sulu. At the end of the 1400s, another Islamic sultanate rose up, the Sultanate of Magadha. Just like Buddhism and Hinduism before it, Islam spread through the islands through trade, missionaries, and sometimes through conquest. Muslim traders from the Middle East, India, and Malaysia kept arriving, making Islam stronger and stronger in the southern Philippines. Okay, now things get really interesting. In 1521, a Portuguese explorer working for Spain named Ferdinand Magellan was leading the first expedition to sail around the entire world. His ships reached the Philippine Islands. Magellan landed on an island called Homonhan and claimed all the islands he saw for Spain. He made friends with some local leaders, especially one named Raja Humabon, and even converted some of them to Christianity. But here's where Magellan's story takes a dramatic turn. He got involved in a local conflict and fought in the Battle of Mactan against a brave ruler named Lapu-Lapu, and guess what? Magellan was killed in that battle. Over the next few decades, more Spanish expeditions came to the islands. In 1543, one expedition officially named the islands Philippines after Prince Philip of Austria, who later became King Philip II of Spain. The real colonization began in 1565, when a Spanish explorer named Miguel López de Legazpi arrived from Mexico. He established the first European settlement in Cebu through a mix of diplomacy and military action. The Spanish took over many local kingdoms, including the Kingdom of Tondo. They made Manila the capital of the Spanish East Indies. In 1578, a major war broke out, the Castilian War. This was between Christian Spanish forces and Muslim Bruneian forces, and both sides had soldiers from all over the world. The Spanish side had Native Americans, Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas fighting alongside Filipinos. The Muslim side was supported by the powerful Ottoman Empire and had Turkish, Egyptian, and Swahili warriors. The war basically ended in a tie, and things went back to how they were before. Just 20 years after conquering Luzon, the Spanish had made huge progress. They built a cathedral in Manila with a bishop's palace. Churches and monasteries popped up on islands everywhere, and more people converted to Christianity. Spanish and Mexican families moved to the Philippines, creating new communities. For the first time ever, most of the archipelago was united under one rule. The Spanish brought Christianity, a legal system, and even founded the oldest modern university in Asia. But not everything was peaceful. Many local people revolted over the centuries because of unfair treatment. Spanish rule finally ended in 1898 after the Spanish-American War. Spain lost, and the Philippines became a territory of the United States. When the Americans took over, they set up the insular government. In 1907, they created an elected assembly where Filipinos could vote for their own leaders. Democracy was beginning. The United States promised the Philippines independence. In 1935, they established the Philippine Commonwealth as a 10-year practice run before full independence. But then, World War II happened. In 1942, Japan invaded and occupied the Philippines. It was a really difficult time. By 1945, American forces liberated the Philippines. Finally, on July 4, 1946, the Treaty of Manila was signed, and the Philippines became a fully independent republic. Freedom at last. The early years of independence had their challenges. The country faced some internal conflicts, but overcame them. Then, in 1965, Ferdinand Marcos became president. He ruled for 21 years, and his time in power became a dictatorship marked by instability and hardship. In 1986, the Filipino people had had enough. In a peaceful revolution, Ferdinand Marcos was removed from power and replaced by Maria Corazon Aquino, the first female president of the Philippines. Since then, 5 more presidents have led the country, each working to build a better future for all Filipinos. And there you have it. From the first brave people who arrived 60,000 years ago, to ancient traders and mighty kingdoms, to Spanish colonization, American rule, World War II, and finally independence. That's the incredible story of how the Philippines became the nation it is today. It's a story of resilience, culture, and the never-ending spirit of the Filipino people. If you enjoyed this journey through time, smash that like button and subscribe for more amazing history content. Drop a comment telling me what surprised you most about Philippine history.